What's going on, Jay Dizzle? We about to have a serious conversation tonight. It's about that time, baby, baby. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Here we go.
The Sinclair Show is on.
It is on.
Running to your friends, come on.
Come on.
It's a moment of the show tonight. Mailbag is tight. Sinclair is on the mic.
Once again, it's on. You're still troubled in your home. Got you tripping, don't know right from wrong. Send your letters to the show so we can talk you through. Get the answers to your questions because we speak that truth. Sometimes you doubt yourself, lost your health. Faith is on the fence, but you believe that Jesus knows your wealth. Keep it moving, spirit flowing because we're here to provide someone to lean on when you're falling. Wednesday, 8 and 9, and it's on.
Yeah, every now and then. What's going on, people? Boy, y'all got me out here already. Once again, it's on. You're listening to the only morning show winning people at night. That's right. It is the Sinclair Show coming to you live and direct. And tonight it is on. We about to have serious conversation. So you see your boy that came up here. I ain't out here playing with y'all tonight. I done put on the bow tie, if you will. It's time for us to have serious conversation because there's some serious things going on in the next few days. And so we want to talk about them tonight. But first, I want to thank all of you all who continue to send your mailbag questions, comments, all the stuff to be on your mind to sinclairtalk@outlook.com. We're going to continue to address as many as possible each night that we on the air to reach you, the valued listener. That's right, the valued listener. Some of y'all don't know what that means, but what that means is there'll be no reason for me to be on this show right now if it wasn't for you all. So I just want to make sure that it's all good until we can get knee deep into the conversations. All right. Now, first and foremost, let me say this to all of you who are out on the West Coast. And I got your messages, and some of y'all was in your feelings because y'all talking about I don't be giving y'all shouts out. Again, I am not on the same forum. My show runs through a service that can stream to TV. It streams to social media platforms, YouTube, and all those things. The people that I am normally responding to and giving credit for seeing are people who are on Facebook. And so when they type a message, it'll pop up in this particular format. For those of you who keep asking, I can tell you I'm using StreamYard. And what it does is it allows me to broadcast out to multiple things. So if I don't see something that you say because you're watching on YouTube or you're watching on one of the other platforms, if you're on Greenville TV or wherever we are broadcasting from, don't charge it to me. I'm really not seeing it real time. I only see those things that pop up on Facebook in real time. Now, you can still shoot me the DM and I give you your shouts out. Just let it be what it is. I'm just letting y'all know because some of y'all have been alluding to the fact that you thought that I was just ignoring some of y'all and only giving some people their credit. And y'all know I don't roll like that because all of you all are valued listeners. And before we begin tonight, let me tell y'all a couple of funny things. I said that I was going to a couple of things. And I'm going to go ahead and put one of them out. I'm going to drop some little nuggets, some little life nuggets along the way because tonight's show is a serious show. All right. But let me tell y'all this. Y'all have got to watch out for these. I want to use the right phrase. How many of y'all have been approached by people who got like kids in K through 12, and they always talking about they got something for sale? They be selling shirts and jackets and popcorn and candies and all kind of stuff. Any of y'all ever had that experience? If so, you're gonna understand what I'm talking about, right? So I'm always getting hit up by people saying, hey, do you want to give to such and such? My child is doing this. So I think it was about maybe like 3 weeks ago, might have been 4 weeks ago, you know, somebody connected up, pop up, poof. Hey, Dr. Sinclair, my kid is selling this. Do you want to? So I said, well, what are you selling? So they said some popcorn, right? Now, I don't even like popcorn like that. I'm not a popcorn fanatic. Matter of fact, I had some popcorn the other day because there was some other thing I was giving my money to that I shouldn't have been, but it was alleged to be a good cause. So I did, and they gave me some little bitty bag of popcorn. I'm like, is this all I get for my donation? But I digress. But anyway, so I had got this, I put in an order for this popcorn, and this popcorn was from, I don't even remember, to be honest with you, the school that the child went to, because like always, it's the parents that hit you up. So I said, all right, cool. I said, well, how much is the popcorn? And I remember ordering some popcorn, and it was like $30. And I was like, well, what in the world kind of pop? This must be super popcorn. But I thought nothing of it because, again, I'm always trying to do something in the community for the little kids or whatever. Matter of fact, let me let y'all see a couple of people out here. Jay Dizzle was the first one on the show. What's going on, my brother? There go my mama. Hey, mama. Uh-oh, there go the arch nemesis right there, Nikki Carter. She talking about support the kids, buy the popcorn. Nikki, look, first of all, I bought the popcorn, okay? But Nikki Carter, let me tell you what the problem was when I bought the popcorn. Mind you, this was some weeks ago, right? So something told me today, let me ask about this popcorn. So I did my due diligence, and I'm searching back through, get the number. Excuse me. Yes, this is Dr. Sinclair speaking. I believe I ordered some popcorn, some $30 popcorn. So I just want to know, is my popcorn ever coming in? Why did I get told, oh, I don't think I ever placed your order? I said, there's no way possible you didn't place my order because I cash app you the money. So they talking about, oh, I don't think I got the order placed. Now, people, doesn't that sound like some scammery going on? A little scammeration, if you will. I believe that it's some folks out here hustling and scamming folks with these little fake things that they talking about going on. Now, some of them are legitimate. No doubt. Some of them are legitimate. But I believe the popcorn thing is a scam. I believe I was scammed out of $30. And I'm determined that I'm either going to get my popcorn. There go Gwendolyn Lady Elegance Pritchard from Huntsville, Alabama. But yeah, y'all, so do y'all believe that I got, Johnny said it was scamalicious. That's what I'm thinking, Jay Dizzle. I think that this individual scammed me for $30 worth of alleged popcorn. And I'm going to tell y'all why it's so disheartening to me. It's so disheartening because I was going to give that popcorn to my mama because my mama likes popcorn. So I done spent $30 in popcorn and my mama, don't worry about it, mama. I'm going to go get you some popcorn. I don't know where I'm going to get it from. And then I think I'm going to put the little popcorn scammers in jail. All of y'all, by the end of the night, I want y'all vote. If y'all think I should press charges against the popcorn scammers, y'all just let me know. And we're going to figure out a solution. All right? Now, that's one little nugget. I'm going to drop a couple more on y'all tonight before we leave each other's presence. You said, hold on. See, as usual, Nikki Carter is asking questions that have absolutely no relevance. I truly don't know, Nikki Carter. It was some popcorn from one of them schools. All right? I don't know. Or alleged from one of them schools. Hey, Jay Dizzle said press them. Put them charges on them. Yes, that's it right there. I concur. Somebody gonna do some time behind this popcorn gate. And I'm telling you, if I don't get my popcorn, yeah, whoever it was that sold it to me, you better learn how to braid hair because that's the only thing gonna save you when you're in prison. You're gonna be in there sitting with R. Kelly and P. Diddy braiding cornrows to the back. Anyway, all right, people, let's get on to some more serious issues tonight. Tonight's show is going, let me get Jay Dizzle up here talking about press him. All right, so tonight's show, and y'all know I normally like to have fun, but we are moving into the latter stages of voting. And next week is time to vote, all right? What Nikki Carter? She said some of them take about 4 weeks to come in. Nikki Carter, I just told you, the person told me they forgot to put the order in, although they did take my money. So they going to jail. Anyway, so because we are on the precipice, I didn't use that word like twice today, so I knew I could sneak it in here. Because we are on the precipice of voting, all right? And I've had people on all sides of the aisle to send me some of their thoughts, if you will. All right. Ty Matthews, what's going on? Glad to have you on the show. And so I wanted to set the stage. Now, I can tell y'all two factual pieces of information. Two. First and foremost, as I've told y'all a million times, I'm an independent. And what that means to me is I reserve the right to vote for individuals, whomever I choose to. All right. And in fact, all of you can. It doesn't matter what party affiliation you've chosen. If you decided that this year there was somebody else that you like better on a different part, when you go in the ballot box, you get to circle whomever. It's not somebody from your party standing over your shoulder talking about, ooh, you went left when you should have went right. We ain't got to worry about that. But the reason why this is important, because of one little notification that I got in my DM where someone was talking to me and trying to convince me of whom people should vote for. For all of you all who continue to send me messages in my DM and trying to change my mind or whatever, let me say this as a matter of record. I am an independent, but I've already voted. I voted with the early voting system last week. So you can stop trying to convince me because I do my due diligence. But let us proceed. Now, voting is essential to the times that we live in and for the goals and direction of our nation. So stop thinking about voting from the perspective of it's us against them, because in all fairness, in many cases, it's that attitude that has prevented us as an American people, from picking the best candidates, whomever you believe the best candidate is. The decision should not be made lightly, nor should it be made by some sense of historical perceived agreement. And I know what y'all are saying. Pamela German, what's going on? Good evening. Glad to see you as well. And I say this, when I use the phrase, it should not be made by some sense of historical perceived agreement. A vote should be based on, does the individual, all of the individuals that you circle their name on your particular ballot, do they reflect your core values? Not do they reflect your party? Because it is possible to have people on the ballot from a party that you affiliate with that may or may not reflect your values. Look at my brother Andre Williams said he voted early. It's done. Most of us enjoyed DJT's stimulus checks, though. All right. I ain't knocking none of that. Everybody's saying they voted early. That's a good sign. And I want y'all to understand why I'm telling you this. We're going to deep dive into some things tonight, and it may change some of my fellow watchers out on the West Coast. But I want you to make up your mind, not because of who I might like, because I'm never going to tell you who my choice is. Because on this platform, my responsibility is to provide you with information that is objective. All right. The person and people that we select should mimic what we see in ourselves. Meaning, if there is a candidate that you are selecting, you should be comfortable that that person represents you and your values. All right, regardless to what they are. So I want us to take this hour tonight and not be about random things occurring in our personal lives, but to consider what is before us in the next few days. And let us begin by me saying this. It is going to be somewhat contentious as we go forth tonight, because I am going to challenge you all to think about some things probably you have not. And let's begin with this. First, I want you to imagine the following thing. As a matter of fact, rewind that. Let me get you to think about this. I want you to consider that in the greater scheme of all that we do, we must ask ourselves, are we logical and are we reasonable? And if we find that we are logical and reasonable, we should be able to walk through this exercise tonight. And at the end of the exercise, for all of you who have yet to vote, you should be able to derive what is best for you based on some very simple principles. Now, I happen to believe that there is a simple litmus test that can tell every American who is qualified to vote what their vote should be. And it is, but to get there, we must remove two principal pieces: ideology, and we must remove the prejudices that come with the fear of, I have to connect with XYZ. And how do we do that tonight? Here's where we start. We've got two candidates, Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. Now, in fairness, and this is my personal perspective, but I'm sure that there are many Americans that feel the same way. My brother, what's going on, Sean? Glad to see you. There are two candidates before all of America. Now, as Jay Dizzle, as Johnny has said for years and years, it is imperative that you look all the way down on your ballot, because those individuals in your local government are more important than who you are picking for president, because they control the nuances, the financial pieces for your local economy. But the principles of what we're going to talk about tonight are the same. Now, we've got two candidates, Donald Trump, Kamala Harris, and as a matter of record, I can say this looking in the camera. Both candidates, we can say, are probably not the best candidates that either party could have put forward. And that's the first problem with America, is we are too big, too broad, with too many high IQ intelligent people to get to a point where we feel like out of 330 million people in America that we must continuously have choices that don't meet the expectation of America. Let's be clear. I am not the greatest fan of Kamala Harris because I don't believe she represents the best of what the Democratic Party could put in front of us. And I am certainly not a fan of Donald Trump, who I don't believe is the best of anything either party or America has to offer. But they are what we have in front of us right now. So we can fix those other things by critical thinking and analysis down the road, but today we got to deal with what's in front of us. Okay? I can tell you beyond any reasonable doubt as an independent, if the Republican Party had to put forth a candidate better than Kamala, a lot of people would have voted for him. If the Democratic Party had to put forth if the Republican Party had to put forth a candidate better than Donald Trump, a lot of people might be voting for Republican. If the Democratic Party had to put forth a candidate better than Kamala, a lot of people on the other side might be voting for her. But none of that matters tonight. None of that matters over the next few days. Let's deal with what's in front of us now. And I don't want to hear anybody talking about because I don't like either candidate that much, I'm not going to vote. If you don't vote, you are voting. I don't care what you think. Just because you don't get up out your bed and go down there, whether it's early voting or next week when you gotta make your decision on the day of. If you don't go vote, you're voting for one of them. Whichever one doesn't get the most votes, you voted against them. Simple. By not doing anything, you're doing something. And that is not the way you want to go about it. And it's the same people who don't take any action that complain about the candidate from whichever side wasn't my choice. We need to grow up. Got to do a little better. So tonight we're going to talk about the two candidates that we do have to choose from. And America, I want you to ask yourselves a few simple questions. First, in order to travel down this road with me tonight, I need you to imagine two things. I need you to imagine that Donald J. Trump was black. And we're going to compare black Donald Trump with his current life record. And then I want you to imagine that Kamala Harris was white. And we're going to measure her entire life record as it exists today. Then at the end of this hour, we're going to ask ourselves, who gets your vote? All right, let us begin. As a matter of principle, once again, I am an independent, so I always vote based on my conscience, and after I do my due diligence, meaning I look up the historical record of a person. I look up if they have already been in government. I look at their voting record, because what you tell me the last 7 to 8 months before an election may not be what you've actually done. I can track your record and tell what you've done. I can tell you there are some politicians that I have had very, very positive relationships with on both sides of the aisle. That's a true statement. I can tell you in North Carolina, there are a lot of good Democrats, a lot of good Republicans. You just have to decide what the issue is that you're judging them on. All right. So I can tell you that I've been a fan in my lifetime of some Republican presidents like Ronald Reagan. I personally like Ronald Reagan. Them jelly beans, and maybe he didn't know everything in the latter part of his presidency. Maybe he was dealing with some have accused him of some potential memory challenges. Okay. But I like Ronald Reagan. I also like the young Bush. You know, the one that was a little bit say whatever comes on his mind type Bush. I kind of liked him. I like Democratic presidents like Carter and Clinton and Obama. Yes, those were some that I liked them as human beings, as people. So I could see myself saying, hey, you could get my vote. But what I've never been about is the political ramblings and disconnect caused by stalemates in business that finds us in the situation we exist in today. Because Congress, the House and the Senate often stay at war with each other because one party has this, one party has that, somebody's got an advantage. That's where we are. But let's begin. Let's think about Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. Donald Trump is now black. Kamala Harris is now white. And here is their record. So a summary before we deep dive is this. From 1973 until 2024, Donald Trump and his businesses were involved in over 4,000 legal cases. We're talking about black Donald Trump. So to my Anglo-Saxon compadres, to white America who we seem to feel like there has to be a difference. I don't want it to be a difference. I want you tonight, when we are identifying with Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, I want you to ask yourself, let's remove race. Let's ask ourselves a genuine question. If Donald Trump was black and if Kamala Harris was white, would it change how you feel about your vote? Robin Williams, what's going on? Glad to see you. And I'm going to tell you how we're going to do it. If Donald Trump was a black man, and I just said from 1973 to 2024, he had and his businesses have been involved in over 4,000 legal cases. Kamala. All right, Nikki Carter said I'm pronouncing the ring wrong. Kamala Harris. Donald Trump has been accused and or convicted and or settled cases with more than 26 different women accusing him of some form of harassment and or some level of assault. Anymore, what's going on? Glad to see you. So to my Republican base, to Esther Shepherd, what's going on? Glad to see you. To my Anglo-Saxon compadres, we're talking about Donald Trump if he was a black man. And his record reflected that more than 26 different women had accused him of some form of assault and or aggressive behavior. Would you want to give that person consideration? If that person, and let's say he had some businesses, if 4,000 times since 1973, this individual has either been in court or settled out of court with some organization, group, or person stating that he wronged them in some capacity, would you give a black man consideration if that was his record? I'm just asking. Kamala Harris. One of the things that I was able to research on her, let's imagine her as a white woman. And Harris' prosecutorial record has been a source of contention. So, America, I must ask you the same question. If Kamala Harris was a white woman and people were looking at her record as a prosecutor, and the contention for many in the black community who believe she contributed to mass incarcerations during her stint as California Attorney General and in prior positions, her perceived role in imposing policies that disproportionately affected Black America has created a deep distrust amongst many black men. So I'm asking you, for the worst things that I've been able to research on both candidates that I can determine are factual. So to white America, to Black America, would you still have the same level of reservation about Kamala Harris, if she was a white woman who had been a prosecutor who was accused of being heavy on crimes associated with drugs in the black community? Would you vote for her, America, if she was white and had a record of locking up blacks who were delving with drugs? I'm just asking. What else is she accused of? The current vice president is being accused or has been accused in 2009, a book on policing that was released while she was the district attorney. The book, Smart on Crimes, A Career Prosecutor's Plan to Make Us Safer, the so-called plagiarism hunter. She is accused of plagiarizing in a book she authored or co-authored in 2009. Would you vote for her, Black America, white America, if she was a white woman? And the two worst things on her record was she is accused of being tough on crime for Black men, especially who were alleged to have had some form of drug crime in the South. Okay? There have been, although there is no proof of this, there were accusations that her relationships with some people allowed her to creep her way to the top. Would that have an impact, white America, Black America, if Kamala Harris was a white woman? Would there be an issue? See, because of the way I'm asking the questions, we are removing race, or you're having to ask yourself, would I be as supportive of my candidate if my candidate looked differently? Let me measure them only for their record of proof. I found another thing on Kamala Harris. It said the judge dismissed the Prime Healthcare. Prime Healthcare had sued her because they say that she was not working, or she was working against them. That is all I've been able to find on Kamala Harris. That people question her prosecutorial record as it relates to Black men who were accused of drug crimes in California, that she alleged to have plagiarized in either the co-authoring or the authoring of a book. And someone had sued her because during her time as a prosecutor, they said that she went after health care. Let me see what y'all talking about out here in the public. All right. Andre says she was just doing her job that she swore to do. As president, she would do the job that she would be sworn to do. From her past, you can count on that. The other candidate, you can say the same thing. He will continue to do what he's been doing, rob, cheat, and steal. All right? Hey, all we doing is reading the record. All right? Let's keep going on it. So as I told you, let's go back to Donald J. Trump, 1973. Justice Department sued the real estate tycoon and his father for their alleged refusal to rent apartments in predominantly white buildings to Black tenants. The lawsuit ended in a settlement in which Trump acknowledged they failed and neglected to comply with the Fair Housing Act. I'm going to tell you what they would do. These are facts. I don't make up the news. This is his record. Testimony showed that on applications filed by Black apartment seekers, they would put a C on the application somewhere representing it was a colored applicant. Now, I'm just saying, America, I'm not telling y'all to go for Kamala Harris, the one accused of prosecuting Blacks at a high rate, the one who's accused of plagiarizing. I'm saying that your choice is someone who has been in 4,000 legal cases and been accused by more than 26 different women of some sort of assault and other more heinous behavior. 1989, Trump infamously took out a full-page newspaper ad calling New York State to reinstate the death penalty as 5 Black and Latino teenagers were set to stand trial for beating and raping a white woman in Central Park. Black clergy leaders responded with their own full page denouncing Trump as a thinly veiled racist. The 5 men were eventually exonerated in 2002 after another man admitted to the crime, and it was determined their confessions were coerced. The 5 men were exonerated. But Donald Trump, the same individual who, as a business owner with apartments, had his people to put a C on the application representing it was colored so they would know to put that one to the side. The same person that took the time when the alleged minority males were accused of beating and raping a white woman in Central Park took out a full-page ad. And it's not, and listen, America, I don't have a problem with him taking out that full-page ad. I believe what a man or woman does with their money is their right to do. The problem that I have with the situation is once it was determined that the 5 men were wrongly accused, he didn't go back and retract it. He didn't say because new evidence has come to light, I'm now changing my position. He stood 10 toes down on it. Now, I'm not saying that some of you in America would find that offensive. I'm asking the question, does the candidate that all of you will vote for, either Kamala or Donald Trump, when you look in the mirror, do you see yourself in that person? Do they have your values? If so, I don't care which one it is. You vote for the person whose values represent you when you look in the mirror. 1990. Atlantic City casino mogul frequently cast doubts about the legitimacy of the tribes seeking to build casinos in New York. This is what Donald Trump said. They don't look like Indians to me. They don't look like Indians to Indians. And a lot of people are laughing at it. Trump said of that Indian group. The tribe leader at the time called the remarks racist. The National Indian Gaming Association filed a federal communications complaint after Trump made similar remarks on Don Imus' talk show. The Republican businessman also famously used the birther conspiracy in the 2000s. Do y'all remember that? Since the 1970s, 26 women. Think about that. I want you all to understand that we're talking about people who are in front of us, who have already told you what they're willing to do, how they will act. June 2019, E. Jean Carroll alleged in New York Magazine that Trump had raped her in a department store dressing room from 1995 or 1996, one of the 2 time periods. 2 friends stated that Carroll had previously confided in them about the incident. Trump called the allegations fiction and denied ever meeting her, despite a photo of them together in 1987. In November of 2022, Carroll filed a lawsuit. And on May 9th, 2023, a New York jury in a civil case found Trump liable. They awarded her $5 million in damages. In July 23, Judge Kaplan stated that the jury had actually found that Trump had raped Carroll according to the common definition of the word as it had been ruled. And Trump kept harassing this woman. And everything I'm saying that you don't hear me say alleged to is because there is a court case that has found him guilty of it. So, matter of fact, in September of 2023, a partial summary judgment again found Trump liable for defaming the very woman that accused him of assaulting her and awarded Carroll $83.3 million. So in total, Donald Trump was found guilty and has to pay her nearly $90 million. So the question is, America, if Donald Trump was black and accused of sexually assaulting 26 women, would you give him consideration? If you would, vote for him. But if he does not reflect the same value system that you have to make that decision. It's not hard, and it's not about race. It's about, does the person that you are circling in a block, do they fit your values? And if they do, whether it is Kamala Harris, who was alleged to be locking up black men at a high rate, or whether it is Donald Trump, who is alleged to have been assaulting women at a high rate, the bottom line is, whomever you circle for is you. You don't get to run around. And see, that's why I dislike the American system that allows you to vote for something and hide your hands. If you say you're not voting for Trump, but you go in there and circle him, you should have to they should be able to put it up. Sinclair Nicholson voted for this person. If you say you didn't vote for Kamala Harris, it should be that somebody can see it. We're so busy giving cover. If I said it, if I did it, I should be willing to stand on it, because the people that I circle the box for should represent me and my views. I know some of y'all getting in your feelings. Trump's own wife, Ivana Trump, 1989. Ivana Trump and Donald Trump were married. They went to a divorce. In the divorce, and in a book called Lost Tycoon, The Many Lives of Donald Trump, there is an allegation that on one occasion during 1989, Mr. Trump, and this is coming from his then wife, she said, Mr. Trump and I had a marital relation in which he behaved very differently toward me than he had during the marriage. As a woman, I felt violated, which normally exhibited toward me was absent. I referred to this as, she called it a rape. But I do not want my words misinterpreted in the literal or criminal sense. Jill Harth filed claims against him. Katie Johnson, 1994. E. Jean Carroll, 1996. Summer Zervius, 2007. Alva Johnson, 2016. Jessica Leeds in the 1980s. Christine Anderson in the 1990s. Stacey Williams, 1993. Lisa Boyne, 1996. Kathy Heller, 1997. Temple Taggart McDowell, 1997. Amy Doris, 1997. Karina Virginia, 1998. Karen Johnson, early 2000s. Mindy McGilvery, 2003. Rachel Crooks, 2005. Natasha Stornoff, 2005. Julith Huddy, 2005 or 6. Jessica Drake, 2006. Nina Lakerson, 2006. Cassandra Searless, 2013. Allegations of underage parties where underage young women were at. Pageants where he visited the dressing room. Miss Teen USA contestant, 1997. Bridget Sullivan, 2000. Tasha Dixon, 2001. An unnamed contestant of the Miss USA pageant, 2001. Samantha Holvey, 2006. Everything that I just told you is a matter of record. These are real allegations. And let's be honest. If I had more stuff to put about Kamala Harris, I would have put it out there. I'm not choosing sides. I want you, America, to do the same thing I had to do, which was ask myself, the person who I circled in that box, whether they be Republican or Democrat, do they represent my values? Maybe these allegations don't move some of you all. Maybe some of you believe it's okay. Maybe some of you believe that all 26 of these women who made allegations, one of them being E. Jean Carroll, who was found to be telling the truth and who was awarded $90 million, whom he harassed afterwards, maybe you think all women are lying. My question to you, America, is this. If you could believe it about Bill Cosby, if you could believe it about Sean Combs, who is incarcerated and facing similar charges, if you could believe it about Robert Kelly, if you could believe it about Epstein, if you could believe it about Harvey Weinstein, what is it about Donald J. Trump that makes you feel like all the other women, white, black, Latino, and otherwise, was telling the truth about all these other men, but somehow you can stomach it being about Donald Trump? And I don't have a problem if you're the same type of person that Donald Trump is, giving them your vote. I'm not telling you not to. I'm telling you, don't vote for him and then hide, or don't vote for him and say everybody else was lying, because you're making me wonder, America, if it is an accusation about a black man being trifling and being a scumbag, you'll believe it. And if Trump was a black man and you had 26 women, white, black, Latino, and otherwise accused him, you can't say I stand on business except for when it suits me. Let me be clear about something. And I want to say this because it's my personal and professional view. Y'all always hear me talk about my relationship with Jay Dizzle. He is like, though he is not my biological brother, he has been the closest thing to a brother I've ever had. And if I found out that Johnny was out here doing the things that these women accused any of them, assaulting them, beating them, doing whatever. If I found out that Jay Dizzle, that Johnny was a deadbeat, didn't pay child support or whatever, if I knew those things to be true, no matter how close he and I have been my entire life since I was a little boy, I couldn't rock with him. Because my personal conviction, my personal values are what they are, regardless to who the person on the other side of the table is. What about this? Hundreds allege that Donald Trump doesn't pay his bills. 3,500 lawsuits over the past 3 decades where small businesses have said that Donald Trump and his companies hired them to do some work. Once they finished the work, Donald Trump didn't want to pay them, or his businesses didn't want to pay him. And then they said, go to court with it, knowing that the small business probably couldn't have afforded to be in court fighting for any length of time. At least 60 lawsuits, along with hundreds of liens, judgments, and other government filings reviewed by the USA Today network, documents people who have accused Trump and his businesses of failing to pay them for work they have done. America, it doesn't matter to me, Republican, Democrat, Independent, black, white, Asian, Latino, I don't care what you are. Ask yourself a question. If the allegations of the 26 women, if the 3,000 or 4,000 lawsuits, would you feel comfortable standing and doing business and circling a block with someone who 3,500 small businesses like the ones you own said this man would have you do work and then not pay you for it? 60 lawsuits. I'm just saying. What about this? Judge finalizes $25 million settlement for victims of Donald Trump's fraudulent university. $25 million he had to pay because they said that Trump's university was running scams against him. Would that be enough for you all? I'm not saying, listen, and I want y'all to wrap your minds around this. I'm not telling you that you got to turn into a special type of American tonight. I don't personally care if you are the same as Donald Trump or the same as Kamala Harris. I don't care who. If you are that type of person, pat yourself on your chest and wear it proudly. But don't run around and escape what is in front of us. You can't say I don't like it. You can't say if Donald Trump was a black man, ain't no way I would give him my vote with his record. Judge a woman or a man on the record of their life. It is what it is. Some of you don't care. But it wasn't just black women or Latino women he was accused of sexually assaulting. It was white women. E. Jean Carroll wasn't black. You can go off Donald Trump's own words. You all heard the same thing. He never denied it. When he got caught on the bus on the hot mic saying he could do anything he wanted when he saw a woman, he said some more vulgar type things. He said, if you got money, you can do whatever you want to do. His words, not mine. And I'm not judging whether you're right or wrong for being the same type of person, but you can't say I'm a different type of person and vote for somebody who has that. You're saying I'm down with it. You can't say I don't like people that prosecute black folks and then vote for Kamala because she's been accused of it. Both of them have records. One's record is a lot different than the others. You just have to decide who could you live with. Could you live with somebody who alleged to have plagiarized in a book and who was accused when she was a prosecutor of being tough on drug crimes, especially in black areas? That's the extent. Look it up for yourself. I looked them up with the same resources. It's just that she didn't have a criminal background. Oh, yeah, I saw the stuff. Oh, she was in a particular sorority, and oh, she used to be wild back in the day. I can tell you what wasn't part of the wild. And if I could have found it, trust me, I was looking. It wasn't criminal activity. Okay, America, maybe that wasn't enough. I want to know if Trump was a black Republican who currently, as of in the last 12 months, he currently has 4 cases against him. He was recently convicted. Not thinking about it, he's currently awaiting sentencing where he was convicted of 34 felony counts. 34. He was convicted of using his business, fabricating the value of his assets to get big loans to which he didn't pay back. And some of you might say, oh man, they do that all over the time in business. Here's also what he was convicted of. On one set of legal documents, he said, my businesses are worth more. My real estate is larger than what it really is. So he could get big loans. Then on the same desk, he filled out paperwork saying, I lost all my money. I didn't earn anything. So he got hundreds of millions of dollars in tax breaks. I'm just telling you what the facts bear out. I'm not judging. Some of y'all gonna say, oh, those are white collar crimes. While you have to pay taxes, while I have to pay taxes, You're going to make an excuse. If Donald Trump was a black man, would you be okay with him not paying taxes? If there was a black candidate that had just been convicted of 34 felonies who was still facing, let me give you the facts, still facing a total of 54 counts in 3 separate cases, would you vote for a black man who's already been convicted of 34 felonies and is looking at 54 counts, 40 counts in a classified document case, 10 counts of election fraud, 4 counts of inciting a riot and obstruction? All I'm asking, and it's on you, America. It's not on me. We about at the end of the show anyway. I went through all of this tonight not to try to convince you to not be what you are, whatever that is. I went through this tonight not because I stand in support of one party affiliation or the other, because I don't. I stand with the position of every candidate that you circle should reflect your core values. You should be able to look at your candidate and see yourself. Birds of a feather, my grandmother used to say, flock together. And so, if you don't mind flying around with an individual whose charges is she was hard on drug dealers who were primarily black in California when she was a prosecutor, or who said that she may have plagiarized in a book she either authored or co-authored, you don't mind flying around with that kind of bird? No problem. Flap your wings. And on the other hand, if you don't mind flying around with someone who has been involved in over 4,000 legal cases and settlements, someone who has been convicted of 34 felony counts, someone who is still facing 4 additional cases with up to 50 separate counts involved in them, someone who has been convicted in not a criminal case, but has been convicted by a jury of sexual assault and ordered to pay a woman $90 million. Someone who was accused, and we know when people get divorces, sometimes they say some bad things. But he was accused of the same types of acts that these 26 women alleged. He was accused by that of his own ex-wife. Someone who will say, I can do what I want, I can grab what I want, I can act the way I want. If you are comfortable with that, if you are comfortable with someone who 3,500 small businesses, 60 in particular, went into a court and said this man had us do work and refused to pay us for the work that we did. If you are comfortable with voting for someone who admitted that maybe he did find a loophole in the system, and I know he's not the only one, I'm not judging as to whether or not it's okay for you. I'm saying to you, when you vote for someone, that person should represent your values. And you can't say because they're going to vote for me or with me on a few issues. If I'm a racist, I'm a racist. If I'm a gang member, I'm a gang member. If I am accused and convicted of something, then to the eyes of the law, then that is what I am. Both of these people have some records. You just have to be sure that the record of the person that you circle represents you. And if so, you got to own the bad with the good. Stop saying that everybody's lying. Go out here and say, if you are voting for Donald Trump, say, I voted for him and I don't care if he did all those things. They're probably true, but so what? Stand on business. Or go out here and vote for Kamala Harris and say, so what? She was tough on black folks selling drugs and more men got caught up in it. So what? She may have plagiarized something in a book she allegedly wrote or co-wrote. If that's her record, stand on business. But when you say them both out loud, America, you cannot tell me that they are the same. Your conscience must be in what you circle, because what you circle is a reflection of who you are and who they are. Good night, America.
It's about that time, baby. Oh, yeah. Here we go.
The Sinclair Show is on.